Howdy there, Jeff.
What you say there, Rock?
Not much. How are you? Hanging in there?
Pretty good. Check this out.
What is that? You playing Monopoly or something?
Nope. I got some reviews of the podcast, and to be quite honest, they're quite flattering.
Reviews? Nice.
Yeah. Want to hear them?
Well, let's hear them.
All right, here's the first one. When it comes to podcasts, Just Jeff and the Dazzlingly Uncool is definitely one of a million. Nice.
Is that one of a million or one in a million?
Of one of a million.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah.
Oh,
what else
nice.
you got?
That was pretty nice. Watching the boys' episodes on YouTube makes me realize how much I enjoy just hearing their voices on Spotify.
Is that a statement about how much they like the Spotify or how much they don't like seeing our faces?
I think it talks about how much they like the podcast. I don't know. Here's another. How about another?
Right. Yeah. Okay.
I love this show. I also love black olives and horseradish, but I don't eat them every week. Everything is best in moderation. This guy loves our show.
Yeah. You're a glasses half full kind of guy, aren't you?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Here,
black olives.
last one. Yeah,
all right, yeah.
Here's the last one. Show is close to perfect. Ever consider less Jeff and more Rocky? Someone needed to say it. I mean, close to perfect.
Yeah, that guy knows what he's talking about.
I told you you'd like him.
Turn that radio dial.
What you talking about, Wood?
It's time for the most Gen X podcast there is.
Real tomato ketchup?
Not even close, bud.
You found it.
Never been so happy in my whole life.
It's Just Jeff and the Dazzlingly Uncool.
Don't mess with the bull, young man. You'll get the horns.
Those aren't pillows.
And now, it's Just Jeff.
Well, Rock, as some people may or may not know, we lost our younger brother unexpectedly and suddenly about a week ago. And I just want to say going forward that not only this episode, but every episode is going to be dedicated to Toby. And something that you did that you can see at the end of the last episode that we did is you added just a quick little picture, or I don't know if you'd call it a vignette of him at the end. So if anyone ever wants to watch this until the very end, you will see our little homage to the greatest little brother that ever existed.
Right. I agree. And as he's going out, we had this video of him where he was kind of rolling his eyes at what we were doing. It was the greatest little take that he did. And so I just have him doing that. And it says, "Oh, brother," which is what I imagine that he was saying to us. And it's also kind of what we're saying to him. It's like, "Oh, brother, we miss you."
Well,
so
we miss him.
A lot of different meanings there, but yeah.
We miss him more than anything.
Sure.
And I'm going to say that I think he would be asking the same question that I'm about to ask you.
Okay.
Okay, you
What's
ready?
that? Yeah.
Cobra Kai, Cobra Y.
Oh, all right. I'm going to make some people angry here.
We both are.
And let me preface this. I mean, when I heard about Cobra Kai, I was so excited to watch it. And I started hearing rave reviews from people whose opinions I really respect.
Right.
And to answer your question, and then we can expand upon it, Cobra Y.
Yep. I think we can both agree.
It's possibly one of the worst shows I've ever watched. And I'm going to actually qualify that. I'm going to take the possibly and one of the off. And I'm going to say it's the worst show I've ever watched.
Wow. That's the weird thing about it is it's possibly the greatest concept for a show ever, because you brought back the exact
Perfect.
same people. It was perfect.
Yes.
Yep.
And I love the Karate Kid.
Yep.
I liked Karate Kid 2 a lot. And the idea behind this was just spectacular. I could not
Absolutely.
wait to watch it. Now let me also just say that while I make the bold statement that it's the worst show I've ever seen, I've watched it all.
Mhm.
I just finished the third season. So, I mean, obviously there's something about it that's drawing me in.
Mhm.
But most of the time at the end of an episode, I'm like, yeah, I was right. But
I
then
think-
what do? Next episode,
Yep.
right?
I think one of the reasons that is we've had so many people tell us how great it is that there has to be some defining moment that they've seen that we just haven't hit yet. I mean, right? You keep expecting it to be so great, but that never happens. I got to the end of season 2 and I haven't gone any further. But let me make a comparison about that if I could real quick. So set the stage,
Yeah.
1984. Reagan's in office. I don't
Yeah.
know who anyone voted for. I don't know if you were Democrat. I don't know if you were Republican. And everybody loved the Karate Kid, right? Fast forward
Right.
to 2021 or to 2020. Everybody has their opinion on politics. People have lost friendships due to politics. And by golly, I'm not going to let Cobra Kai do that to us. People love it or people hate it. But I don't want to
Well,
lose friendships over this.
I know. Here, to me, this is just further proof that we live in a simulation, because the politics thing is one of those where, you know, there's clearly not one reality that we're all looking at, because everybody's looking at something different.
Yeah.
And the politics thing, you know, what I look at and see and what one of my good friends looks at and sees, maybe we're seeing totally different things.
Yeah.
And I think the same is true with Cobra Kai. But the interesting thing is, they're not related. So there
No.
may be somebody who I see the politics part of it the same, and I see the Cobra Kai thing the same, but there's some where maybe our political views are very different, but so are our Cobra Kai views. This just
Absolutely.
further complicates. It's just the matrix, the simulation is so complex that you can't just kind of drill down to one topic.
You just blew my mind, because that is so
Yeah.
true. Now, if someone ever called me and said, listen, I know we differ when it comes to politics. Let's sit down and discuss it with a beer.
End of discussion.
End of discussion.
No, end of
Now,
discussion.
someone says, listen,
we don't need to
differ-
talk about that.
We don't need to talk about it. Now, if someone says, look, I love Cobra Kai, you don't. Why don't we sit down with a beer and let's discuss? Absolutely, we're having that beer.
Let me tell you what's going to happen. Let's say one of our friends and their kids come over and they say, I love Cobra Kai. Let's discuss. Well, we're going to sit down with a couple of Coors Banquets
Yeah,
for
right.
us and and I'm going to grab an RC Cola
Yeah,
out of the fridge for the kids, because I feel like this is a vehicle for, like, trying to make everybody start referring to Coors as Coors Banquet. And
okay.
anytime the kids break out a soda, it's an RC. And the only thing that seems more strange about the whole concept than those two things is the presence of Ed Asner.
Yeah. Ed Asner.
Yeah. But you know, the thing about it, like I said, I've watched the whole dang thing. So obviously there's something to it that I like. And what it is, it's the little things.
Yes.
I think that I do like Johnny. I mean, I think William, I got it written, Zabka. William Zabka does a good job. He's a interesting character, you know, and I like the way that he's just sort of like can't figure out where he fits in the world today. Like, everything's kind of passed him by. Like, he's still thinking the way that we thought in the 80s, and he just doesn't understand the culture. That stuff's fun.
Yeah.
The fact that he shows up in a zebra T-shirt one time was awesome.
Awesome.
You know, his music choices are awesome. But
I mean, I would say this was more about Johnny, wouldn't you think, than it is about Danielson.
For sure.
But, you know, so I just finished the second season finale of season 2, and I think I could probably talk at exhaustive length about everything that is wrong with that, and I could talk briefly about everything that's wrong. First of all, the education. Okay. So I would not send my kids. Well,
the speed of proficiency, is that what?
Well, I'm just thinking, you know, there was that huge fight towards the end, right? Huge fight. I mean, it was a rumble. It was a rumble. And so I'm putting myself in a parent's shoes. Spoiler alert, there are a lot of karate fights. So if you didn't know that and you don't want to be spoiled, there are a lot of karate fights in this series. So as a parent... Well, as a parent, sending my kids to this school, you know, a lot of parents would say, I'm sending my kids to private school, but they elect to send their kids to public school here. And when the fight starts, I realize that the parent-to-student ratio, or the teacher-to-student ratio, is about 1 in 800. There are no teachers. No teacher. I mean, one teacher came out and saw it and said, I don't get paid enough for this. And left.
And then Stingray has to come in and clean things up, but he's giving high fives to the bad guys.
And that's also beating up a minor.
No kidding.
I don't get that. And then all of a sudden, you know... Go ahead.
Well, I'll say every one of those kids who's basically just tied on their white belt is like Jackie Chan.
Yes.
You know?
Cobra Kai.
Just flying around.
You know, when you look at the first season, Cobra Kai might be the greatest dojo in the history of the world, because within months they had 5-degree black belts from people that couldn't even ride a bicycle. And I just feel if those kids would have spent that much time in acting class, could have been a good show.
Oh man, we'll get back to that.
Yeah.
They need some acting classes.
They need some acting.
But I gotta say, Miyagi. I don't know how Miyagi-Do, that teaching defies physics.
Yeah.
And as you go back to the previous movies, it defies physics too, because, I mean, all you got to do is this. And a full-on roundhouse kick is totally negated.
Yeah.
Doesn't hurt your hand. You know, if you do this, that roundhouse kick is just, it's gone.
Gone.
Completely ineffective.
I mean,
you know, right. So
I could see you blocking it, but the energy is still going to be absorbed into that hand, and it's going to hurt. No, it like you said, it negates.
But it's all you got to do.
Something about that
look at
fight.
That. I just got Miyagi-Do.
You did. I'll block it.
I did.
So something about something about that fight in the school. You know, it there was actually a very un-PC part. And I figured a show like These Days would be 100% PC. But there were these two kids that looked to be in middle school. One of them was a little blonde kid. Yeah. One of them was a little Asian kid. And I think the blonde kid was beating the only Asian kid. And the blonde kid was beating the other Asian kid up until he knocked his glasses off. And that Asian kid said, now it's on. And it's like, now, wait a minute.
Now, the idea of, like, what this is teaching kids is that the way of the fist is the way. I mean, a fight is the way to settle things. There are no consequences. And it's worse with, well, I mean, obviously in that fight, a kid got paralyzed. But, you know, you can't walk into a car dealership, have a little bit of a quarrel with somebody, and finish it off with a roundhouse kick and then just walk off.
No.
Right? I mean, as an adult, you are never going to win a fight. You might come out on top, but you're both going to jail. That's assault. Yeah. So, but these guys are just like, taught him a lesson. Give him what he wants next time, or else he's gonna lay into you with his no mercy, strike first. Right?
It just makes no sense. And so I noticed, like, during that big fight as well, the two girls were fighting. Okay. And at some point, this girl pulled out like spiked brass knuckles. Now, at that point, it's no longer a fight. I mean, this is, as Pops would say, that's a federal offense. I mean, now it's armed robbery.
But one punch with that, and she's scarred for life. Yet, being hurled into a locker, into a glass trophy case, those kinds of things don't leave a mark. But I mean, she put on spikes. She had something sharp on her fists.
Well, they were brass knuckles to begin with, and they were spiked brass knuckles.
That's harmful.
It's harmful. It just made me really feel for that school. and the what you really need to take close attention to are like the body doubles. I was trying to watch like the stuntmen, and the hair colors.
Dimitri didn't really throw the.
Now Dimitri was scared to death, and then all of a sudden he just decided to throw this guy into the trophy case. Yeah.
He blocked a couple. He did one of these, one of these, and then all of a sudden the most beautiful, well choreographed roundhouse kick that you could imagine.
And that trophy case.
Right on target.
Trophy case shattered.
Right on target. Yeah.
So yeah, I just was those are some of the things that I was really thinking of about that. I guess I don't need to watch season 3 now, seeing how you just said some kid got paralyzed. I did see someone fall down a flight of stairs.
Yeah, he's paralyzed, but don't you worry.
So I should keep going? Should I keep watching?
Oh, there could be an 80s style montage.
I do hear that there's a very special guest towards the end of it.
There is, and I'm not sure that even she could save it.
Really? I mean, at least you gave her something better to look at.
That was kind of nice.
Mm-hmm.
And then the whole Kreese backstory goes into a dark place.
Kreese? Kreese is kind of a bad dude.
He's a bad dude.
Yep. And the thing...
And you see that he sort of fell into like a B-movie version of Platoon, The Deer Hunter, and Apocalypse Now. And you see why he turned into who he was. There was, just some pretty silly kind of Deer Hunter style, like pitting one prisoner against the other. There was a little bit of Colonel... what was his name? Kurtz from Apocalypse Now. Just the character resembled Marlon Brando mainly because of his beer gut as much as anything, but he was clearly a Kurtz kind of figure.
Okay.
And just an inexplicably large collection of reptiles turn up at one point, and but clearly, I mean, no spoiler alert here. Kreese gets out with his life, because he goes on to found Cobra Kai. But he went through some pretty rough, very poorly portrayed stuff.
I think I'm going to have to continue. It sounds like, even though I know there's a paralyzation and Elizabeth Shue shows up at the end, I still feel like I need to go watch this. I feel like
there's so many things. There's inexplicable proficiency with nunchucks. That I never saw any training for. There's an unbelievable proficiency with a staff.
Yeah.
That was really only because of learning how to cast a fishing rod. And,
okay.
It's just.
You think Peter Cetera's waiting for a phone call?
Should be.
I mean, something's got to save this, right?
And I got to tell you. I got to tell you one other thing. So I don't know how much you remember about Karate Kid 2, but there are just a ton of references to Karate Kid 2 in season 3, especially, and season 2. I actually went back and rewatched Karate Kid 2 because I'd heard that there were, and I thought I needed to be a little more familiar with it. But there are a lot of characters that come back full circle out of that. And one of the things that's just really disturbing is you see him and you're like, oh, they just look old.
Yeah.
Just look like an old dude, you know?
Who?
Like, well, do you want me to spoil the, there might be a former foe of Daniel's who he got involved with a fight to the death with and ended up honking his nose.
Oh, wait, would this be Karate Kid 2?
Yeah, that guy might show back up.
So would you suggest I watch Karate Kid 2 before season 3 of Cobra Kai?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I'll
do it.
Yeah.
Because I remember the nose honk. That was kind of
So I know that, like, all of our literary-minded viewers are saying it's called suspension of disbelief, you know, just let yourself enjoy it. But it's just the acting is so bad, the story is so outlandish, the lack of consequences. Like, I've gone out to look at reviews and they're almost uniformly just rave reviews.
Right.
And the people who, like, don't give it good reviews are upset because there's a lot of swearing and there's bullying and stuff like that. There's lack of racial diversity. And I mean, I honestly can't really find anybody who's saying, I mean, not that many people that are saying, like, the acting's terrible, the story's kind of not very plausible. I mean, everybody always talks about how cool it is, how they tie in the story from the original movies, and I gotta agree, that's pretty cool. And the fact that references are fun.
And the fact that they got all the originals back, I mean, that's impressive. That's impressive.
It's pretty good. Yeah.
So, you know, I'm gonna watch the 3rd season, and sometimes by just talking about things like this, I want to know if, hearing that you did enjoy some of this, if you would like to still say it is the worst show you've ever seen in your life. Or maybe after talking, you're like, top 10 worst for sure, but maybe not the worst.
That's a tough one. Top 10 for sure. I'll leave it at that. Am I going to watch season 4 when it comes out? Yeah, I am.
I respect that. Well, I'll watch season 3, and I almost feel like that, you know, after I watch season 3, that, you know, whether it's before we do our next episode or not, we might throw in just a little 2-minute blip about my thoughts on that, just based on what you were saying. And I'd also love to hear from anybody who loved it, who hated it. You know, we want people to put comments below. But I mean, we know for a fact a couple of people that we know loved it, and a lot of people. Yeah, and a lot of people whose opinions I respect. Yeah, you know, when it comes to that sort of thing. So please, like, nobody unfriend me because I am talking badly about Cobra Kai, and I'm happy to sit down, have a Coors Banquet with you, and but let's leave the politics just completely out. We can talk about Cobra Kai if we disagree. But I think when all is said and done, you and I will agree on one thing, and that is Cobra Kai, Cobra Y.
Wah, wah.
It's time for closing thoughts with Jeff. And now, here's Jeff.
You know, I've often said the day I make fun of anything related to the Karate Kid is the day Texas freezes over. Well played, Daniel, son. Well played. Until next time, Johnny, sweep the leg. Smooth.
Thank you for listening to the Just Jeff and the Dazzlingly Uncool podcast. Check back every Thursday for new episodes. If there's a topic you think we should discuss on the podcast, leave us a comment or a message and we'll do our best to get to it. Hey, do you think you yourself may be dazzlingly uncool? Well, if you found your way to our podcast, chances are pretty good, or at least that you will be one day. Wear that title with pride. Please consider becoming a Patreon sponsor. If you go to our site at www.patreon.com/dazzlinglyuncool, you can support the show and get access to special members-only benefits. Don't forget, the video version of the podcast is posted on YouTube every Thursday. Check it out. Find out more at www.rockysealmusic.com.
Good Lord.